Pass the 5-point harness. Grandpa, get your ID. Shortly, because, ladies and gentlemen, it is showtime.
You're listening to the Dirt Racing Podcast with Marshall Haynes. Welcome to the show. Bill Wright will be on from the SprintInvaders to help us recap the first 19 years. In 2021, will be their 20th season. First of all, we'll take a look at the winning list and the champions. 68 winners have won a race. This was last updated, was the final race of the year was 9/26 of this year. The first champion in 2002 was Ryan Jamison, and in 2003, Tyson Hart. 2004, Bobby Meitzer. 2005, Jesse Giannetto. Matt Rogerson won. Ryan Jamison repeated in 06. The 07 champion was Kaylee Garst. 2008 was John Schultz. Bobby Meitzer picked up his second in 2009. In the 2010 was Kaylee Garst's second championship. 2011, Matt Sutton won the championship. 2012, Ryan Jamison picked up his second. Russ Hall was the 2013 champion. 2014 through 15 was John Egan. 2016 was Chris Martin. 2017 was John Egan again. 2018 was Cody Worley. 2019 was John Schultz. And Chris Martin picked up his second one this year in 2020. So you look at the all-time feature wins list. There's 2 National Sprint Car Hall of Famers on the list. 3 countries represented on the list. First of all, your all-time feature winner is Kaylee Garst with 22. Second will be Jared Hall with 18. Third, John Schultz with 15. Fourth with 12 is T-Mac Terry McCarl. The tie for 5th through 7th is Bobby Meitzer, Matt Sutton, and John Egan with 9. 8th is Josh Schneiderman with 7. Jesse Giannetto is 9th Josh Schneiderman had 8. Jesse Giannetto had 7. Matt Rogerson 7. Ryan Jamison 7th. 12th, Bobby Hawks with 6. Jeff Patrician with 6. Chris Martin with 6. 15th, Ben Wagner with 5. Randy Martin with 5. In 17th place is Joey Mahan with 4. 18th is Russ Hall with 4. And Dustin Salvage. Tied for 20th. Ian Matson with 3. Jamie Ball with 3. Dominic Selzy with 3. And Paul Nieheiser. 24th. It is Brian Brown with 2. Mike Hausman Jr. with 2. CJ Hausman 2. Jim Mohan 2. Josh Higday 2. Carson McCarl 2. Wayne Johnson 2. Ayrton Jetton 2. And Seth Bergman with 2. And at 33 on back, they all have 1. Tyson Hart with 1. Jeff Nearing with 1. Rager Phillips with 1. Joey Montgomery with 1. Billy Alley with 1. Mike Granke with 1. Tim Montgomery with 1. Jake Peters with 1. Skip Jackson with 1. The Madman Kerry Matson with 1. Ricky Logan with 1. Randy Plaff with 1. Nick Easton with 1. Larry Pinniger with 1. Robbie Stanridge with 1. Jordan Goldsberry with 1. Jack Stover with 1. Donnie Stewart. Roger Crockett. Brett Triplett. Jason Didsworth with 1. The Wild Child Jack Hunchild with 1. Don Drow Jr. with 1. Ryan Bowers with 1, Tony Schilling, Jared Schneiderman, Bill Baylog, Gio Scelzi all with 1, Jake Blackhurst with 1, Austin McCarl with 1, Evan Martin with 1, Cody Worley with 1, Joby Miller with 1, Mason Daniel with 1, Blake Holm with 1, and Kyle Oldfield with 1, and Dylan Westbrook with 1, and Dylan Westbrook was the Canadian winner. Couple Australians on the list, and of course the good old USA, with the total of 68 winners. And we'll have Bill Wright coming up next. Sitting here with Bill Wright, that's one of the announcers for the SprintInvaders. How's it going, Bill?
It's going good, Marshall. Good to talk to you today, and good to talk racing during the winter months.
We, like I mentioned before on all the history, 3 different countries
that have won SprintInvaders races. Yep.
And just the list, the 2 Hall of Famers on the list.
Yep. Jack Hodenshield and Terry McCarl. Is that who you got?
Yeah.
Okay.
And just a variety of winners.
There's just a big variety of winners with the SprintInvaders over the years.
Then how did you get started with it?
Oh, about 13 years ago, they had asked me to start announcing with them. I had been announcing here at the Knoxville Raceway with on the internet on Hoseheads Radio and the American Dirt Network, and I'd done some work with the Sprint Car Network that did the Outlaws too. So they asked me to be their announcer, and it's been a good run for 13 years, and looking forward to it again in 21.
20th year.
Yeah.
I figured it out.
Yeah, very good. It started in 2002, the series. So, this would be the 20th year that they've been racing.
And some of the tracks in the past.
Well, there's been a variety of tracks. You know, the 2 main tracks over the years have been the 34 Raceway in West Burlington and Lee County Speedway in Donaldson, which was really the home of the SprintInvaders the first several years. But of course, the county fair races are, those have been a lot of the mainstays, over the years, whether it be Bloomfield or Tipton, or even Eldon, Memphis, Missouri. Some of the fairgrounds have seen a lot of SprintInvaders racing over the years.
And they also participated. They were invited for one of the Tournament of Champions was.
That's true. They're part of the Brodix Tournament of Champions here at Knoxville with several 360 series around the country. They've co-sanctioned with the ASCS series before too. So it's just a nice little series. You get a local group of drivers, and when some of the Knoxville fans look at the results, they wonder who some of the drivers are, but they're very talented, and sometimes they just stick to racing with the SprintInvaders and maybe racing their 305s on Saturday night at Burlington.
And then what helped was, if you can find it on YouTube, go check out the Fall Flame race, the last one, where you had California all over the place.
Yeah, that was kind of a unique opportunity because, of course, you have the Fall Brawl has a nice purse to it there at 34 Raceway, and then there were some drivers who were in the area. They were racing at the Hockett McMillan Memorial. They were racing around the region here. Houston's had a big show as well, and they were racing around the region here, and some of them stuck around. So it was good to see drivers from Washington and California and all over the country come to that the Fall Hall.
And it was decent weather for one.
It's the Brawl. I always call it the Fall Hall, but it's the Fall Brawl.
It's fall, yeah.
Yeah, the Fall Hall's over in Nebraska, I guess.
Yeah.
But, it was nice weather this year, which was a first for that event, really. And it's been kind of tough over the years. And, of course, the first Canadian winner in the history of the SprintInvaders won that. Dylan Westbrook, who's really talented, races for the Hills Racing Team, who also fields cars for Sam Hafer-Teep and also Alex Hill. So it was nice to have Dylan and really nice team and a nice driver there win that last race of the year.
And it was a lot of cars, too.
There were a lot of cars. I don't remember exactly. Was there 40 or so? Or
yeah, something
around
like
40? So
but I know Chris Crone has it on YouTube if you get a chance.
Yep, Chris Crone did the video on that, and I think it was
Done
Right Racing TV. Did the pay-per-view on several of the SprintInvaders shows this year. So you can probably go back and look at some of them there too. I know they're at Lee County and Burlington several times.
And this people don't realize it's a quiet series. They might not hear it nationally.
Yeah, there's not a whole lot of promotion of it, but the drivers know about it. They know the purse is decent. It's a little better than Knoxville's purse as far as the 360s go. And it's a good way for, the drivers who race at Knoxville to race some other tracks too and, improve their skills because they get to get out on some of the short tracks, in eastern Iowa and show their skills there too. So, some of the results might surprise some people, just like when some of our 410 drivers go up to IRA territory and get their butts handed to them up there sometimes at different tracks. So, it gives you an opportunity to improve as a driver, and a lot of the young 360 drivers around here are figuring that out, that they need to put some SprintInvaders races on their schedule.
And it helped when Knoxville all of a sudden, with the pandemic closed, that people needed something.
Sure. And there were a few races left for the SprintInvaders, and there were actually just as many racers stationed here in the Knoxville area from around the country when Knoxville was not racing as when they were racing, because they were racing around the region in Missouri and South Dakota and Iowa. So, it was kind of an interesting year to be sure. For sure. 2020 was very
usually
different.
They get about 20 cars average.
The SprintInvaders, usually more than 20. Yeah,
Depends on the track.
Yeah, depends. If they're traveling a long ways from home, like Dubuque, you might be around 20. But if you're around Burlington or Lee County, you're going to get 30 to 35. Yeah. And we got down to Moberly, Missouri this year for 3 shows, and we had 25 cars about every night there, and it seemed like every race we went to, the cars were different, or the visitors were different down there, so that was kind of neat too.
Anybody that has not ran it that you would love to see run it?
Like I said earlier, I think some of the young drivers who are just starting, and some of them are starting to do this, but the young drivers around Knoxville, they really need to race some of the SprintInvader shows to improve their skills. It's only 2 hours down the road from central Iowa. Yeah. And, if you want to improve, the purse is a little bit better, but also the competition probably not as stiff, and you don't need that, that high hitting motor that you need on a big half mile with the SprintInvader. So you can really show your skills with them and improve your skills and hone your skills. So I think it's really good for young drivers. That's who I'd like to see, is some young drivers who want to improve their skills in a sprint car.
And basically the Burlington's been used to have the twins.
Yeah, we used to have the Night of the Twins, the twin features there. And one thing you didn't know is one year they did one wing and one non-wing, which Mike Hausman Jr. won. So the SprintInvaders have actually had a non-wing race in their history. But yeah, the Night of the Twins was always fun. The 2 feature events, and that was usually the week after the Nationals that they would do that.
And then you now have this fall haul, which a lot of product was given away.
There's a lot of donors, a lot of sponsors that come in, and just race fans who come in and donate lap money or whatever it is. So it really is a good deal for the drivers, and I think that's why we saw 40 cars.
Could you see them being undercard for the Outlaws at Burlington?
The Outlaws have certain rules about who the undercard is. They only allow one. They would not have a problem with it. It would be up to the track and whoever is promoting it, if they want to pay that extra purse money. The SprintInvaders purse is pretty reasonable, but it would be up to the promoter. Last year it was the Outlaws who leased the track, I believe. So it would be up to them whether they wanted that. Or here at Knoxville, they run their 360 class with the Outlaws, or the pro sprints with the Outlaws, and it's really up to the track what they want to do, because they have to pay the purse, ultimately.
Would a race go over here on a regular Saturday night?
The SprintInvaders? I think that'd be a good idea. It'd probably be not a point paying race, but at least a show up point.
Because you'd have all the normal guys.
Yeah, there's a lot of Sprint Invaders racers that already race at Knoxville, and that's one good thing about the Sprint Invaders schedule is they don't conflict with Knoxville's schedule. So drivers can do both, and that's why it's a perfect opportunity for them to get some extra races in.
Yeah, and it's always either Sunday or depends on the night.
Yeah, county fair races you might hit midweek. You might hit a Wednesday or a Thursday at Dubuque or down at Bloomfield or Tipton or wherever they're racing, and then you might hit a Sunday once in a while. Usually not though, because it's a working person series.
But that's the way Moberly was.
Yeah, yeah. Moberly ended up being on Sunday. Of course, Memorial Day weekend you can do that with a Sunday. Usually they do a Friday at Lee County and a Sunday at Burlington on Memorial Day weekend. But the schedule's going to be out soon. I believe I haven't got a sneak peek at it yet, but I'm looking forward to seeing it.
And then maybe further down the road with some projects with them.
As far as what are you hinting?
I mean, like radio, TV, a little bit.
Well, I hope so. Like we said, Done Right TV.
Yeah.
They might pick up the rest of the shows. The way Flo's taking over everything, you never know. Flow Racing might step in there.
They did one last year.
Yeah, we did one. At the time, it was Speed Shift, but it's Flow now. But you never know what's going to happen as far as that goes, or as far as audio goes.
And then your website has all the results of them.
For the Sprint Invaders? Yeah. Because I end up writing the stories. So, that's where I usually put them and post them up. Yeah. So, and that's just convenient for everybody so they know where to go see them. Yeah.
And then hopefully 2021 will be a fun year.
Yeah, hopefully it will be. And I think it will be. It sounds, Jerry Glasgow's kind of the director of racing there with the Sprint Invaders, and he let us know that the schedule is going to be out soon, and he seems excited about it. So we're also excited to see it. The normal standby shows that they always have are exciting, and then anything you add to that just adds to the excitement. So hopefully they get 12 to 15 shows again, and we can go have some fun. Yeah.
Thanks for your time on this part.
Okay.
Big thanks to Bill Wright for helping us with some of the info for this show and then coming on. And in 2021, we will have updates with the Sprint Invaders the next day after a race on the Twitter and Facebook pages. Stay tuned in a couple episodes. One special and one will be the season and year in review of results, points champions, and several interesting things. So till then, thanks. This has been the Dirt Racing Podcast. Always, I appreciate you guys listening to this. See you next time.